Okay, I've started the recording. This is a public meeting. We will make this recording available on our YouTube channel. This is the Pod Management and Voltha FCAPS Brigade call for June 8th of 2020. I have the agenda here up on screen. First item on the agenda is the future of the brigade. So I'm transitioning more and more to a new project at ONF, and I've been spending less and less time on Voltha, while at the same time the brigade has been getting a lot of our features delivered and our issue count is dropping. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be around the end of June wrapping up the brigade as a kind of a formal weekly meeting. Let me make a note here, formal weekly meeting, June, meet as necessary. And we'll be transitioning to more meeting as necessary. So I will still be available to, advise people, help people with issues, but more on a matter of as things come up over Slack and email and as necessary online meetings. So I did want to thank everyone for the work that everyone has been doing in the brigade. I think, we've been greatly successful with, particularly with the logging stuff, but also the a lot of the event stuff and alarms, and the brigade has done quite well. We do look forward to getting things done for the next release. I think we're going to have some big milestones. Let me make 2.4 release. Things we're hoping to get into 2.4, I think, to get in the remainder of the logging stuff. It sounds like from the Infosys team, logging is coming along well, and that is probably an achievable goal. So I am going to be coordinating with people on, just monitoring what goes in and what gets done by 2.4. If something doesn't make it by 2.4, that's not a problem. We can deliver for the next version, but it'd be good to have 2.4 as kind of a dividing point on what functionality we get in, and try to deliver some of these big logging features if we can. Does anyone have questions about either of these 2 points, the brigade future or the upcoming 2.4 release? Okay, then let's proceed with status reports as usual. Let's start with Divya. Would you like to give your status, Divya?
Yeah, hi Scott. So I was working on 902, which is security features for EFK stack. So I have done the changes and submitted the code changes for the Gerrit review. And please review the changes. I merged 901 and 902. These are Helm chart changes. So please, you and David review the changes. It's been a long pending now. And I have created a document to how enable the security features for the EFK stack, and I shared the link with you guys over the Slack. Please review that document as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll take a look. I'm curious to how this security stuff will work. So you said you've shared the link to the document,
Yeah.
and that's shared in Slack. Could you also link the document in here as a comment to the Vol 902 issue?
Yeah, sure. I'll update after this call.
I'm just going to look here and make sure I can find. Yeah, here I've got it here in Slack as well. So yeah, I'll take a look at that. That sounds interesting to read how we're going to do that. And the other one, you say 901 is wrapped up. This was the Elastic issue, or are you still waiting for merges on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for the review actually. There are 3 patches. One is CI management. We need to add some repos to the repos, actually, Elasticsearch repo and KiwiGrid repo. to download the Elasticsearch, Kibana, and Fluentd Elasticsearch Helm charts from the respected repos. So there are 3 patches for one is CI management, Voltha Helm charts, and kind Voltha.
Okay, great. Yeah,
So
I will make a point of taking a look at those. Yeah, I think I plan on getting to those last week, but a lot of things have been on my plate lately. I'll make a point of taking a look at these either today or tomorrow and get some feedback on that. We have David. David, you could also look at these 3 Bold 901 patches within the next day or so.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
yeah, first CI management patch should go in, then only the Jenkins job will be passing for Voltha Helm charts and kind Voltha, because it is failing. Voltha Helm charts Jenkins job is failing because it is not able to add the repos.
Right. So you said
Yeah.
CI management first. That's this one.
Yeah.
And that just adds the 2 repos. Okay, great. Yeah, it shouldn't be hard getting this one through. Yeah, I'll talk to the QA people on that and make sure we get QA review.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good. And Divya, you've got so you're going to work on 902 after this, and 902 is that something that'll probably be done by the 2.4 release?
902 also I have submitted the patch. It's with the Voltha Helm charts.
Okay, so that's done already.
Yeah.
Okay, so right here is part of this one.
Yeah.
And then, do you have something you're going to work on after 901 and 902 are all merged and done?
I want to discuss with you and David about 903 and 906.
Yeah, let's take a look at Vol 903.
This is for the key identification and timestamp data for the logs. Some of these features are already there, and some features are coming with 904, which Girish is working on. That is correlation, logging correlation. So I wanted to discuss with you if any other things you want with this particular Jira. Or...
Yeah, so I think this was certainly related to correlation in that I think log messages should provide information relevant to the user and such. So like ONU serial numbers, stuff like that, I think was the intent of this. Identifying the user that invoked the action. So I think as we do the log correlation, I do think that'll help out with this, that we can correlate a series of log messages to a particular ONU device. Is that what you had in mind
no,
with
this
this?
was actually operator, right? This is the which operator did it thing. I don't think we have any of the audit trail information right now, so I'm not sure we can do anything with this.
Yeah, so this would is relevant to the operator. So this would be like who invoked a Voltcuddle command?
Yeah, I think that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, so I don't even know how would you implement a security around Voltcuddle to have like a login?
Well, I think we'd make this a future issue. gRPC actually deals with security via context from my brief reading. So this is going to be a longer term issue. I think this one's got to be pushed past 2.4.
Yeah, it's listed as future.
Yeah. Until we decide how we're going to do security around it. I mean, I spent a little bit of time looking at Java Web Token last week, which is interesting, but nothing's been decided.
Right. Yeah.
Not
You would
Java
think
Web Token, JSON Web Token. Sorry.
JSON Web Token. Yeah. Yeah, you would think coming up with a whole security model for Volta and who can do what, and then tracking it all, that does sound like a big issue.
Yeah.
So Divya starting to look at these things will be handy to you on this, David?
At this point, unless you can coordinate, I probably not right?
It's just too
'Cause
far
until
off
we,
in the
it's
future.
just too far off. Until we have the data, there's no way to look at logging it.
And then the issue that will actually implement the security, that is someplace else. Is someone working on that?
I don't think anyone's working on it right now. I think it is one of those, well, no one's explicitly asked for it yet, so we don't have to do
Right.
it. But I think that might be problematic.
So I'm going to add a comment here. Needs a security login infrastructure in Volta to associate operator, administrator,
Yeah.
users with Volta API operations.
It's gonna be, it's a nit, but I don't think it's gonna be done via login. It'll probably be done via certificates.
Where did I put certificate?
Do you know if a lot of operators, I know a lot of operators use a TACAX server sometimes in their.
Yeah, I looked at that as well. Thought of, or I didn't look at it. I thought about it. You know, do we just make this TACAX and be done with it? And
Yeah, we probably might see what a lot of the operators, if we get hold of DT and maybe Manuel or somebody can give some color on it.
yeah, it's one of these things where gRPC tends to say use certificates, but if I'm looking at a device, I use something like TACAX or
Yeah.
even Radius.
And that's TACX.
TACACS.
You can put a plus after it
TACACS.
too. It could be TACAX plus.
TACACS certificates. You said a third one?
Radius.
Radius, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Depends
so
if we
that,
want to look at it as a device or as an API.
yeah, so that does, yeah, a lot of design work needs to be done there, I think, if we haven't even arrived at which one of these alternatives. So yeah, it does seem like this is pushed off a ways into the future. So Divya, that makes sense to you that this one may be a little bit longer term?
Okay. Yeah.
What is the other one you were looking at?
906.
Bull 906. Archive of log messages that can be transferred. So this could conceivably be done through Elastic somehow, bundling the logging up.
Actually, I was analyzing. I mean, I'm analyzing this, but email is not comes with the basic license. It is a paid license one. This feature.
Mm-hmm.
So
A paid license on Elastic.
yeah, email sending is a paid license on Elastic. Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah, what about anything that can just do a query of Elastic and stuff the results in a big tarball and we could give it to someone?
Yeah, maybe I can try out that. It's, using Curator on a.
Yeah, what did you have any thoughts, David, as to how you would envision this one being approached?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what the licensed feature of Elasticsearch here is. You know, I've always thought, hey, just grab a bunch of log files and bundle them up some way.
Yeah, well, I think the thing is, you know, the like the Kubernetes logs, those are constantly getting trimmed and we're losing parts of them. And
right.
if we've got it all in a database, we should be able to pull out, you know, like by a time query, you know, pull out an hour's worth of messages or something. Leverage the database we have and get them out of there and send them. You would think Elastic would support that sort of thing.
Well, it sounds like Elastic does support some level of it, but you have to pay.
Yeah.
And there's always the option that says, hey, look, we're going to use Elasticsearch if you want the other capability. Who pays, I guess the question is. But
yeah,
maybe it's written off and saying, look, rather than implement it ourselves, it's a feature that exists out there. It should be paid for if we want to use it rather than try to re-implement it.
Yeah, so I think it does definitely make sense for Divya to look into Elastic, see what it does, as well as look at what we could implement ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a good one. Okay, Divya, anything else to discuss?
Yeah, I mean, so okay, if I create a tarball uh, for the logs, where I'll keep it means it will be on the same machine.
I would envision a command that basically says, hey, create me a tarball, put it here, and then I can attach that to an email to a support organization, for example. So I think I think that where it's located is going to be specified as part of the command to generate it. That makes sense?
Mm, maybe I'm not following you. Means
Okay,
I'm
so
not
maybe I'd envision this as an export command. Export logs from Friday 2 p.m. till now, and store them in /temp my log files -tgz.
okay.
Yeah, so
Right?
this is a command the operator runs on his local machine. It could be a Voltcuddle like command, though not necessarily part of Voltcuddle if it's talking to Elastic, and it just stores it where the operator tells it to store it.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with making it Voltcuddle too, right? I think that's reasonable, and the Voltcuddle could talk to Elastic to get the information, or it could be done outside. Either way.
Okay, yeah, that would be good, integrating it in there, and then we just have another. You would have another endpoint. You point Voltcuddle at Elastic in addition to the things that points Kafka and
Yeah.
Volta and
Yeah.
Kubernetes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Voltcuddle, download logs, and a date range, something like that, and out of it just comes a tarball.
Yeah.
And the other option is, if it is built into Elastic, maybe it's something you click around in Elastic and it just downloads it via web browser into the administrator's computer, if the feature already exists. And then maybe there's also a notion that there is an Elastic API to do it, and Voltcuddle talks that.
Yeah.
So it seems like this very open-ended, see what Elastic supports, and then that would guide us to how to implement it.
Okay. Okay, we'll analyze on the both side with Volt Kettle and with Elasticsearch,
Yeah,
and
sounds good.
I'll ping you over the Slack
Yeah,
about
sounds good.
whatever the analysis on I'll be doing. Okay.
Sounds great. Thank you, Divya. Anything else to discuss?
No, Scott, that's all from my side.
Okay, let's Rohan, would you like to provide your status?
Yeah, hi Scott. So last week I submitted patch for 3153. So I think both the patches for that have got merged. And after that, I had also submitted a patch for 2571. That was for implementing the Volt serial commands for PM configs.
And that was
So
Volt 3153, you said?
yeah, yes.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, so we got both of those merged. Good. And the other one was 2579.
71.
2571. PM
Yeah.
config commands and Voltcuddle. Okay, good.
Yeah. So this one is for review. I got some comments from David on Friday, so I've done that changes. So please have a look at it.
Okay, great. Yeah, I will. I can try this. So this should be all ready to build it and then start trying out these commands. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, and this one is for review, and this one patch left for 3085. That is for Volta OpenAbilty adapter, updating the PM configs. So right now, actually, one change for 2736 that is Neha's changes for Volta libgo has gotten. So, but after that, when I'm updating the Open OLT adapter to use the latest version of libgo, so it's failing for me. So I think one of those patches needs to go in for 2736.
Okay, let me look up 2736. Yeah, I think, well, we'll get to Nia in a moment, but yeah, I think we're supposed to start working on getting these ones in. Yeah, we've got the Volta libgo, but we need to prioritize getting the rest of these. Okay, sounds very good, Rohan. And you've got things queued up to work on once you once these things that are under review get in.
Yeah, I've actually started working on one ticket today. That is for passing context in the Volta code base, VOL 3069. So I've created a subtask under that. I'm currently doing changes for Volta Go repo and OF agent.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And then we expect the context stuff that's going to be in by yeah, that's got a version of 2.4 in the release, so we expect that to get done by end of June, I assume.
Yeah. Yeah. I've just
Okay.
started on working on that today. So we'll
Okay,
try
good.
today.
Anything else to report, Rohan?
No, that's it from my side.
Okay, Girish, would you like to give status?
Yeah, hi, Scott. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Hi, yeah, for me, after the discussion we had with in the Volta TST last week, so I had actually changed the patch for 3071 to only do the logger changes, and that was merged yesterday. That was Friday. So after that is closed, now I think Neha would be working on 3069. Probably she would have to create new set of patches discarding the old ones. Okay. So earlier this the scope of this 3069 was only to pass the context down the call hierarchy across all the methods. Now we will only change those methods which are using logger and hint needs context, but I think she would be doing both the changes, modifying the logger method calls and also passing the context wherever needed. So there will be new patches I think will be coming out on that. For me, I'm actually started working on now 3142, which is open that, yeah. So this is basically bringing in Jagger tracings into the kind Volta. So I'm introducing a Volta tracing hem chart, which is going to set up a Jagger a basic Jagger setup into the Volta namespace, and then all the components will be pushing their spans into it. So I was trying to look at a Jagger's hem chart. So by default, Jagger actually the stable hem chart actually is a more like a production deployment hem chart, which uses Elasticsearch or Cassandra as the storage. But when I'm trying to use it, it's quite heavy. So I hope I think for the Volta requirement, right, which is more like a development kind of requirement, right, for on tracing aspect. So I think we can probably go with a normal, right, all-in-one kind of Jagger uh, uh, image, which actually stores everything in memory. So which means it when the Jagger stops, or let's say the whole Volta stops, all that tracing information would be gone. So is
Yeah,
that okay?
I think this primarily is aimed at a developer feature like that for short-term tracing and development. So I would think that would be fine if you don't deploy a bunch of heavy infrastructure and go with something that is more temporary.
Yeah,
That
right.
that seems like a good choice to me.
Is it a separate container or is it?
It is separate container.
Okay.
It's
So
separate
we can
container which would be
okay.
deployed into
Oh, okay, but then we can configure it later. Presumably, the persistence is configurable. Pardon me, configurable. So if we chose, or a developer chose to configure it with persistence, that is possible.
Not really. So what I am using is a single container which has all the components bundled into it, which is usually used in a kind of a development environment.
Mhm.
Uh, but if you want to use a full-fledged kind of trace, which would keep which will keep the persistence information, that is a different Helm chart, and that actually install all the four components in different containers. So they are separate containers for each component there, and
Okay.
one of them it needs to be Elasticsearch or Cassandra for storing all that persistent data and indexing it.
Okay. I mean, I agree with Scott that initially, um, all in one memory is fine.
Mhm.
I'm just was curious what it would take to take it to the next configure or install it the other way. But for an initial deployment, I think all in one's fine.
Yeah, but I think the way I think because we would be introducing a Volta tracing kind of chart for this, right? Which internally would be instantiating this Jagger container. So I think
Mhm.
this should be possible to basically migrate that, not to use a single container, but probably use a more stable Helm chart, right? Which is having a persistent storage at a later point of time. So, right, so nothing would change in kind Volta, but at the back end, Volta tracing chart would change to use.
Yeah, yeah. I think Jaeger Sport's open telemetry, but I think it's just in early development right now for
Mhm.
persistence.
Yeah, I just wonder about the volume of data we'd be generating if we really have the ability to persist it all at that sort of tracing granularity. So that makes me wonder what the production use of this feature would be, if there even is a production use of it.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely see doing the expedient lightweight thing first, and
Right.
then demo that and see if someone says, well, gee, I'd like to keep this data around, or I'd like to use this in production for tracing on demand, or what may come of it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I think let's start. I think with this as a lightweight option. Later point of time, we can also look at because if we introduce logging, right, that would also be based on Elastic. But if we can probably use the same Elastic instance for this as well, that may be a possibility, right? Using a different index.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? So we look at that aspect. I think probably next. As of now, I'm just going with the basic one, which keeps in memory, right? All the data in memory.
Yeah, that sounds good. Anything else, Girish?
No, I think that is all.
Okay, I think next up would be Neha. Would you like to give your status, Neha?
Yeah, hi. Am I audible?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. Regarding 2736, on Friday, I have updated all the patch sets of 2736, and now I can see they are only failing in the sanity test, and which is because of their dependency in the hem charts. So I think all these patch sets are now ready to be merged without having any issues.
But there is no way for us to sort of merge them in sequence and get them to start passing. They are all sort of mutually dependent and need to go in together. Is that the case?
Yeah, actually for 2735 also we did it the similar way. The changes were similar. They were dependent on hem charts. So all these changes went in one go only. I'm not sure how Scott has done that for
Yeah,
217.
I may have forced one of them. Maybe I forced the Helm chart patch through first, and then the others passed. I guess that's my question. If we were to force through the Helm chart patch on this one, would all of the rest of these just start passing once the Helm chart changes in?
I'm
Because it
not
would.
sure, but
But
all
once
these
we
patches. Yeah.
wouldn't we get failures right away? So if we do the Helm chart and it starts passing the times or the duration as opposed to just int, one thing just immediately start to fail all over the place.
Yeah, this one. So the duration thing, that was the one we already did. That was
Okay.
2735. So yeah, I must have.
2735.
Oh, this is host and port. Sorry.
Yeah, so I must
Yeah,
have.
okay.
I must have had some order. I could look and see how I got those ones through. Maybe I did just jam them all through. Yeah, host and port is the same sort of thing. The Helm charts disagree with the components.
Yeah.
Maybe we do just have to jam them all through again. Yeah, I wish we had QA processes that I didn't have to push things through that were failing tests, but I think that's
Yeah.
our
Well, this is
QA
where
just
if we
doesn't
were,
accommodate.
yeah, if we were also using kind of just the environment to configure things, you could push both things to the environment, get
Yeah,
everything merged, and then remove the old one.
yeah. Yeah, so I will try to make progress on this one. Yeah, because this I assume someone was saying we needed to get these done because this Volta libgo patch was
Is
they needed
already
it.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, this one's already in, and they need everything else compatible with it to do
Yes.
further Volta libgo.
I'm
Yep,
also working on open OLT adapter, so we'll be getting issues for host and port in that also.
right. Okay, so I will take these up. I will go on to the Volta stabilization channel and get try to make a priority of getting people to review these, and then we will force them through Jenkins with the great hope that once we've done that, everything will work.
Okay.
Sound good to you as well, David?
Yep. Great hope is always a good thing.
Yeah, we'll just ask David to blind review them all. Plus twos on everything.
It's been known to happen.
Okay, thank you, Nihat. Do you have something you're going to
Uh,
be working on after this?
yeah. On 3069, last week's TST meeting, we decided that we have to pass the CTX only where it is required. So I'm doing the changes for that. I've done the changes for Volta libgo. In the evening, I was getting some issue in Gerrit and OpenCode Jira. I was not able to log in, so I couldn't push the changes. So now after the call, I'll be pushing the Volta libgo changes, and I've started working on OpenOLT adapter changes.
Okay, great. Sounds good.
Yeah. And the other two components, Rohan is doing those changes.
Okay, great. And we
Yeah.
expect all of that to be in by 2.4.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, thanks a lot, Nihat. Anything else to discuss?
Nothing from my side. That's it.
Good. I think we've covered everyone who is on the call. Does anyone else have any issues that you'd like to bring up this week? Okay, we'll keep in touch over Slack. I will try to get some reviews done as well as get reviews from others coming in. And we'll have our meeting. Go ahead.
Scott, I think I was on mute. Just wanted to check on this brigade call, right? You mentioned we are going to close it in June, right? So it is this brigade pod management because like we are running out of issues, or this the other brigade calls also looking at probably closing them.
Yeah, I think the idea is, we've got such a handle on the work that, the management of this brigade can just transition to being, part of the regular Volta TST process.
Okay.
Maybe bring up, if there are issues, bring them up on the regular Tuesday Volta calls. I think there are maybe a couple of other brigades that are also possibly wrapping up as, the majority of their work is completed. This brigade was really brought about for the surge, and we've completed the surge. We got a handle on things, and I think we're going to just go toward regular management processes unless there's a need to fork off logging and other event related work separately again. But it's not necessarily the case that we should say that there isn't more work to be done. We do have plenty of issues that we are putting toward future, and I expect we will have future demands from the operators for you know, finishing up this feature set. A good example is the security stuff that that David recently added those JIRA tickets for. You know, building a security infrastructure for operator and administrator access to Voltha, and then logging all of that. So there's going to be plenty of work to come as this gets operationalized.
Okay.
It might not be done in a brigade. It might be done in the sort of the larger Voltha community context. Does that make sense?
Yeah, right. Understand. And you also mentioned, right, you're moving to a different, right, probably a project, right? That's part of Volta, or you're doing something else?
Yeah, so I'm transitioning to work on a project at ONF called Ether, AETHER.
Okay.
So that's a big project. A lot of people are starting to work on that. So I will still be around for Volta tasks. Right now I'm kind of being shared between the two, but I will just be moving increasingly to work on Ether related work and less on Volta work. So you guys may have noticed I've been a little bit slower to respond on Slack and such lately. That's just because my attention has been divided for the last few weeks. So as time goes on, I'll probably be more and more focused over there in that camp.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm not going away immediately. We will keep having these brigade meetings through through the end of the month. So this isn't my farewell to you guys yet. I do enjoy working with you guys.
No, sure. I think we will also keep on bothering you once in a while.
Yeah. So yeah, even after we've wrapped up this brigade, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You know, if you guys need advice or help, or you know, everybody at ONF is still there for you.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, thank you. We will. Yeah, I think there are not many places we do get stuck, and I think some kind of advice would be helpful from you.
Yeah.
And probably David.
Yeah, we're great. And you know, I'll volunteer David's time all day long. Not a problem there.
I was still waiting for the message from you. I've appreciated working with all of you. Well, most of you, not David so much.
Hey, I hear David, you know, could follow me to new projects. He's not going away.
Okay.
Yeah, once you've encountered David, he's with you for life, I think.
It's kind of like a disease.
There's no cure.
We won't go there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everyone. Yeah, we'll talk next Monday on our regularly scheduled call. Let's push hard to get what features we can completed for 2.4, so we can, you know, have a big delivery for the release and showcase our work. ONF is just really happy with the way this stuff is going. So great, everyone, and we'll talk to you on Monday again.
Yeah, sure. I think we aim to complete it. Yeah, I think before next 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, should be okay.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.